Hello there, I'm Blackbright, broadcasting out of the UK into your world. Thank you for passing by. You're welcome to click the thumbs up, thumbs down, the usual, subscribe, share with your mates, interact with my subscribers. Basically, I wanted to talk today about this WhatsApp that's going around and something on Facebook about how you might go for your child at school and your child might not be there because the government has taken that child away for isolation because under COVID-19, and they can quarantine your child or they can take them away for 14 days. So I just wanted to clarify that and hope by the end of it, it puts your mind at rest. I think the Coronavirus Act is deliberately ambiguous, as is all legislation. Unless you've got somebody on top of it asking for clarification, it is open to misinterpretation. And I think that is what's happened. Anyway, a letter was written by Children's Commissioner for England. Her name is Anne Longfield on the 26th of March 2020. So that's when the coronavirus was quite rampant. Okay. And she works for a non-department public body to promote the rights and welfare of children. The letter was addressed to the permanent secretaries of the Department of Health and Social Care and the Department for Education, and in it, she asks for clarification on the Act and how it will impact children. Now, this is what she sought clarification on. The Act also introduces new powers to detain children on public health grounds for a period of up to 14 days. I agree that this may be necessary in order to prevent further spread of the disease. However, I am concerned that the Act allows this to be done without consent from someone with responsibility for the child and only requires reasonable steps to be taken to inform someone with responsibility for the detention. Now, that has been taken, well, not really out of context, because I think that was taken from what she read, and she's seeking clarification on how that impacts a child. So, like I said, legislation is often deliberately ambiguous, and like we know, so far we don't know our arse from our elbow with regard to legislation, what we're supposed to do from what we're not. And I think it's deliberately confusing, just to create chaos and, trauma, and all these parents who are now worried about putting their kids back in school. This exacerbates it. Anyway, the claim is, which is on WhatsApp, as part of the Coronavirus Act, children can be detained for 14 days without their parents' consent, and their parents do not have to be informed, only a teacher, according to a letter from the Children's Commissioner, and that's the source, the Full Fact Organisation. Now that has been interpreted from the letter that I just read out a minute ago. And so that is what's gone around and what's got people worried, especially parents with children going to school. Now, what the conclusion is based on that, because now they've clarified it and they've investigated it, and the government says Public Health England can only screen or assess a child for COVID-19 in the presence of an individual like a carer, parent, or a guardian, clarified by the Department for Education and Department of Health and Social Care. It also says they cannot detain a child without parents' knowledge, consent under the powers in the Coronavirus Act. The only part where you'll have a problem is if your contact details are not up to date. If your contact details are not up to date, you've actually opted out of this protection. So please make sure your details are up to date. And I'm going to let you listen to a representative from the Safeguarding Children team. And she wants to be anonymous, but I'm going to let you hear it because she's more or less works for them. And she's really reiterating what I'm saying. But, I think she gives a little bit extra that might put your mind at rest. A child would most likely be asked to self-isolate at home with their family. A responsible adult under Schedule 21 is a person with parental responsibility for the child within the meaning of the Children Act 1989, or a person who has custody or charge of the child for the time being. So, if you don't want your child to become if you don't want the government to step in as a corporate parent, you really need to make sure that your details, your contact details, are up to date and have backup contact details, because they can always say they can't get hold of you because the Coronavirus Act says after reasonable steps. So if they make a phone call and they can't get hold of you, then they can go off and do that by the looks of things. But that's anyway. I'm not gonna get passionate or involved. I'm gonna let that lady speak for me. Okay. So yeah, you need up-to-date information, notified, and you don't want any interference with your children. Children could be assessed quarantined without your consent if they don't have the information. Okay, let me show you the video now. No, it's actually not a video, it's an audio, sorry. I've got a video to show you in a minute.
People decided to do a little bit of an interview, and I'm going to call you what? Miss Anonymous? Yeah? That's what she's nodding, but yeah, Miss Anonymous. So, with the information that we all got about how under COVID they could take your kids, or you could turn up to school and they might not be there and all this sort of stuff, but you saw the information that was going around and I presented it to somebody. And what do you say about it? Tell the people. First of all, tell them who you are. No, don't tell who you are. What you do as a profession.
Okay, so I'm a qualified social worker, and I've been so since for the last 20 years, and obviously I've been a team manager as well. And I deal with my specific area of expertise is child protection. So basically, the legislation, there is two bits of legislation. There's the Children's Act, which we have to comply with, and that's our infrastructure, and there's 1989 and 2004. Now, in addition to that, more recently, the 2020 COVID guidance that the government released in relation to safeguarding children, the first draft did say that we must give priority to children that may be affected by COVID. So whether they've contracted it or are suspected of contracting it, that they could be given assessments or tests. Initially, it seemed like without parental consent. So that's where I suppose people were getting the thing from, obviously children being taken from school, because the caveat to that was that they could be self-isolated or quarantined for up to 14 days as a result of that. Now, obviously the Children's Commissioner, and she has a legal role and responsibility and power, so she can write to the government and say, basically, I won't bore you with the legalities of it, but say it's embedded in the 2004 Act. She can say, this is not right. Yeah, you are invoking children's rights, parent rights, etc., etc. You need to amend it. So they have amended it, and it's very clear, and it's on their website, and it's been distributed to all local authorities and child protection services, which it clearly states you cannot assess or provide medical attention or what have you without a parent or a carer or somebody with legal responsibility for the child present, and you have to also evidence that you have made thorough attempts to contact those individuals as well. So my advice to people, parents and school, when your child returns to school, you ensure, number one, that all your contact details are up to date. So none of those kind of old phone mobile numbers that you haven't got round to telling the school that you've changed and things like that. Make sure they're up to date. Make sure they're the people you actually want the school to contact. And also that you formally email the school in writing and say that you do not want your child to have any medical intervention without your consent or your presence. And that's it. So that the school will know that if there are any issues, they will contact you immediately because they're legally required to do so. If you do not update your details on the system and they have incorrect details and they cannot get hold of you, then yes, the government can step in, as a statutory issue and take charge. And that's when you have difficulties.
Can I stop you right there? Because what you've said there is just really good. And that's what my people need to hear. But this is the bomb. This is the bomb that you need. This is the point. So I'm going to make you say it again. Yeah, they have to. And I'm going to repeat it. And if I say anything wrong, that they have to update all their records and for the school, the teachers, everything. Make sure without fail. If you do not want your kids to be in this situation, right?
They can't get hold of them.
Yeah, when they can't get in hold of, and then. This is the gem next that I know it because you spoke to me about it, but this is the gem, people. You have to listen to this bit. It's when you're going to email them, right? Tell the people about that.
You must email the school. The reason why I say email the school, just confirming that all your contact details are up to date and that you want them to contact you in case of any medical emergency. You don't want your children any form of intervention to happen without your consent or your presence, and that's it. The reason I'm saying that, it just closes another loophole in terms of that they will have to contact you because you provided them with correct details and you've said to them that you don't want the intervention unless they contact you. If you, as a parent, do not make sure that your school has the correct information so they can easily contact you and you haven't been clear about what you want in terms of the event of an accident, emergency, or what have you, then the local authority it's an invention. This is not about COVID. This was in place before COVID. Yeah, if your school cannot contact you under any circumstances and they feel that or a guardian or somebody with parental responsibility, the local authority then has to step in as the corporate parent in the interim, and that's how things start to get very messy. And that's all.
Okay, and I'll ask you another question because it's unfortunate that some people have social services in their life. Okay, and this one's for you. Is that okay? So they're in your life, unfortunately, for whatever reasons. Now, if your kids have something to do with social services, what rights do they have or not have? What's the situation apart from just seeing it in your face?
All I will say is if you know that you've got a social worker, just make sure that you've made arrangements with a social worker in the event that anything happens, that you've agreed a plan. Because it's quite different if you've got social services involved. It's not as straightforward. And all I can say is that you know what the issues are. So just make sure that you've spoken to the social worker and you're very clear, because what the issue will be if social services involved is who has parental responsibility. So unless you're in, I'm not saying that anybody is, so unless you're in care proceedings, that means you're in court and your case is before a judge, then you have parental responsibility. So it's just really making sure that the social worker is aware that you also want to be notified and you don't want their interference if anything happens at school.
Okay, because there is people, even I know good people, and I know you know, that people that ain't got nothing to do with the government whatsoever, and they blatantly, through bad-minded people, whatever, social services came and knocked on the door. So if all these, basically we need to keep our kids away from social services, point blank, really, because we don't want to be in the mix of all of this. And what you're saying me is that we got no rights if they're involved, really.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you don't have any rights. I'm saying it's complex, and it's probably too complex for me to just talk. It is complex, and I wouldn't want to do anybody disservice and try and summarise your rights.
But I'm not going to frighten anybody, but I'm just put it point blank. You don't want social services for any reasons in your life, whether they're in there now, get them out, and you do not want to be in any position where you have to deal with this. It's the best way, because as you once they're in, them bitches ain't coming out. That's how it is. It's like if you think they own your kids already, you don't know nothing about it when the social services involved, right?
Again, I think it's too complex to summarise over the phone. It's too complex.
She's talking like a real lawyer now. But so basically, the information that we got frightened us, my friends, and over the WhatsApp or whatever, but we don't know her situation exactly. So this is why we've done this interview that way, right?
Yeah, that's why I questioned. I said, well, what are the circumstances behind it? Because there are a lot of reasons why the local authority would intervene. But again, we, as much as the obviously television media will tell you, it's not so easy to just just take people's children, and that there are going to be issues behind it to why they were involved in the first place. But all I want to say is, in terms of that bit of legislation, is it says, and it's very clear in the legislation, that they cannot medically intervene or self-isolate. They most likely will tell you to take them home and self-isolate together, but they cannot do that without a parent, carer, or somebody who has legal parental responsibility for that child present. It's as simple as that.
Okay, people, so yeah, know your rights, know what they can enforce or not enforce on you. That's the same thing as if you're getting stopped on by police in the road. Know your rights, and yeah.
Well, that's it, and that feeds nicely into the next video about knowing your rights and stop and search, because this guy knows his rights and he stop and search, but the amount of grief you get. So it's difficult, because knowing your rights is one thing, being able to exercise your rights is another. So there is this inference that if you know your rights, you're going to be able to be treated properly and with respect. But the police can twist it around if they so choose and make it look like you're being obstructive, that you're being unhelpful, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to show you this one. What have we now? 16 minutes. So I think this is, I think this might be about 4 or 5 minutes, but it's interesting.
Those details with you, and to do that, I'd like you to get out of the car.
Am I obliged to get out of the car, officer?
Sir, I would like you to join me on the car, out of the car, so I can verify all your details. I'm not going to do everything through the small gap in the
Officer,
window.
once again.
Please join me out on the pavement, sir.
Officer,
otherwise,
once again, am I obliged to get out of the vehicle? You're not answering my question.
So we can obviously check those details.
Am I obliged to get out of the vehicle, officer?
Sir, please join me out on the pavement.
Well then, am I obliged to get out of the vehicle, officer?
Join me out on the pavement so we can verify those documents, sir. Like I say, we need to check your driving licence, your insurance, and your MOT for this vehicle. Okay, under section 163 of the Road Traffic Act, we are entitled to do that.
Am I obliged to get out of the vehicle, officer? Am I obliged to get out of the vehicle, sir?
Why are you being awkward, sir?
I'm asking you a question and you're not answering my question.
I'm answering the questions that you've asked me.
Am I obliged to get out of the vehicle?
Do I need so that we can do that?
Do I need to get out of the vehicle?
Why are you feeling that need to be awkward, sir? Okay, you're recording us for what purpose, really?
For my own purposes.
Okay, for your own purposes.
So it's illegal, which I can do.
Okay, sir. I'm not stopping you recording anything at all. Okay, all I'm asking you is to join us out on the pavement. So
What we need to do is speak to you, ascertain the details we need, check that you have the correct documents, and then you can be on your way. What I'm asking you to do is lawful.
Is that my courtesy you want me to get out of it?
We've been polite. Everything we're trying to do is going to be speeded up if you just can come and speak to us.
There's no way it's going to be speeded up if I come out of the vehicle. You can get my details from the vehicle, and I'll be kind enough to give you those details. If you want my details, get out your notebook. I'll give you my details, and you can verify those on the system.
Is there any reason, sort of physical or otherwise, that you're not able to get out of the vehicle?
No, I just feel I don't need to get out of the vehicle. Under your section, doesn't state I need to exit the vehicle. You have not clarified to me that I need to get out of the vehicle. When I ask you these questions, you're not answering them. You're finding your own answers to justify your reasons why you want me to get out of the vehicle. But under no circumstances do I need to get out of the vehicle. Do you understand?
Are you telling me that you won't get out of the vehicle?
I'm not telling you that I won't get out of the vehicle. I'm telling you that I do not need to get out of the vehicle. Is that clear for you? So if you want my details, you can get out your notebook. I'll give you my details. You can check them on the PNC if that's what you want to do.
Okay. Do you have your car keys?
The car keys are in the vehicle. The engine is off. Yep.
Okay. We need to speak to you, and it's easier for us to do it.
Do you want my details? Yes or no?
We do, yes.
Okay, so do you want to take out your notebook and I'll kind of give
Do
it?
you have any ID with you?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
What we'll do, being as you're refusing to help,
I'm not refusing for
take
help,
some
ma'am.
details. Take some details or some documentation from you.
Okay.
And take things from there.
Okay.
It may be that I do in some need you to get out of the vehicle. Okay. At the moment, I would like to see your details, please.
Okay, so if you kindly get out your notebook, I'll provide you with the details.
Do you have some documentation?
I do, but if you kindly get out your notebook, I'll give you my name and date of birth. Because if I give you my documents,
yeah.
I am then forced to get out of the vehicle because you're not going to come back and give them to me.
Well, no, because I need to see some form of ID.
Okay, I will kindly wind up the window. I will show you my license through the window, and you can take the details off there. Is that helpful? Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
It's been forwarded because it's, you know how slow these police are, and this video would be too long.
Could you show me a driving license and we can do some checks on that?
Yeah.
Do you have an insurance policy in the vehicle?
I will check, ma'am.
Okay.
Just give me a moment. Yeah. Here's the policy with my name clearly stated on the.
I need to check that. There's watermarks on it. Pass me your insurance document. I need to check the watermarks on it.
So there's no watermarks on this document. There's none whatsoever. Okay, I've never seen an insurance document certificate with a watermark. Okay, I have the insurance policy here. My name is clearly stated on the insurance policy. If you're not willing to take this information from the window, then I have no reason to give it to you otherwise. Okay. As I previously stated, I do not want to pass you the information, because you may not give it back to me and force me to get out of the vehicle when I do not need to.
Show it up. We need to get some details from it.
Okay, I'll hold it up. Fine, the time is now 5:20. Insurance should be open, so I'll give them a ring, confirm everything, and I'll be on my way, same as you lot.
Colleagues on the phone to the insurance company, it's going to take a little while for that to do. So, okay, sometimes they have to call back as well once they get those documents. So I'd save your battery and turn off your ignition phase one, mate. That's fine.
Yeah.
I've been a police officer for nearly 18 years. I've probably carried out hundreds, if not thousands, of stop checks.
Okay.
People do get out to speak to me, and I don't have issues with
But they're not legally obliged to get out of their vehicle, so that's up to them if they really want to get out. And I feel they need to not get out. I would like to stay in my vehicle. It's nice and warm in here. It's cold out there.
It's very much a shame.
It's very cold out there. I don't want to stand out in the cold. You know, I've got a nice big body armour. I haven't. The owner of the vehicle.
Excuse me, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any chance you could just move your car forward a little bit there? Because then we're going to need to move our van behind you, because there's a bit of an obstruction behind you. So you can't drive off yet, all right? Because we still need to do our check. I'm not prepared at the moment to roll around and drag you out of the car and be particularly stupid, just to ask you to move your car up there so we can perhaps reposition ourselves. Can I just ask, out of idle curiosity, why are you being quite so unhelpful?
Well, listen, I'm not being unhelpful. I'm giving you all the information you need, officer.
No, what I'm saying is, be honest, you probably could have been home an awful lot earlier or wherever you're going.
I understand that. But I will happily to go through this same procedure.
Okay.
I don't see how this will make delay. I don't see how this will delay.
These
guys now, look, they're checking tyres. They're just trying to find anything.
Well,
You're not so funny,
I'm talking to you, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but look, these guys are trying to find a tread depth.
Because normally, people get out of the car and talk to us, right? Normally. Yeah. When we stop a car, people get out and we have a conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I could think, perhaps, as my colleagues could think, and other people might think, because you're refusing to get out of the car and staying in the car, that perhaps you have something to hide. I'm not saying you have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying where that could lead to. And so people could think you may have something in the car, something on yourself. You may not legally be entitled to have the car. So by the way that you're acting, then that is going to make everybody's behaviour
a bit heightened. Yeah.
Do you understand?
I understand that.
So that's maybe why people are maybe checking everything, because your behaviour isn't the norm. So the norm to us puts our suspicion up a little bit higher.
Well, you shouldn't set that bar so low, because
it's not low though, is it?
It is though, because people are not entitled.
I'll be perfectly honest with you.
People are not entitled to get out of the vehicle. They don't need to get out of the vehicle. So if every normal person stayed in the vehicle,
honest,
it will be unnormal for someone to get out of the vehicle.
No, because you don't have a conversation there else. I've been doing this an awful long time.
If everyone stayed in the vehicle, that would be normal to you. Because they're legally obliged to stay in the vehicle.
Because to us, most of the time, that's dangerous when we stop people. Because we're having to stand out in the roadway and deal with you.
Yeah.
Because you're being unhelpful by making us stand in the road where there's cars coming through.
You just stop
it's not a busy road, so we're not too bad.
Yeah.
But on other times, I wouldn't want to be standing out in the middle of a busy road, crouching down, having to speak to you through a window.
Yeah.
So that puts me in danger and my colleagues in danger.
Okay.
So you are being unhelpful, but I mean, yes, it's up to you.
I'm legally entitled to.
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
I just was asking why you are being unhelpful.
I just thought, if you're stopping me...
If you're honest, you can't really answer. It's just because you feel like being a bit belligerent.
No, it's because I'm exercising my right. I'm exercising my right.
Because I can.
So because it's not normal for someone to exercise their right,
No, I'm not saying that.
That's what you're saying to me.
I haven't said that. I just said it isn't normal.
In layman's terms, yeah.
Layman's aren't normal. You ain't normal.
Ricardo.
Oh, yeah.
Just 2 seconds, okay? I've obviously gone through your vehicle and obviously noticed the defects with your vehicle.
Okay.
Okay. What I need to do is show you that defect on your vehicle. Okay. Now to obviously do that, I need to get out of the car. Okay. And I need to show you that defect.
What defect is that, mate?
There's a bulge in your tyre.
A bulge in my tyre.
And that is obviously a defective tyre.
Yep.
Under the construction and use of the vehicle, okay, therefore it's a 3-point penalty notice.
Okay.
I can go through that with you, and
Yeah.
I can explain the different procedures. Obviously, what I would like to do is to show you the defect, okay, and then we can make a decision where we go from there. Okay?
I don't need to see it. I'll see it. I'll see the defect later on.
No, I need to do that now with you.
I'll see the defect later on.
I'll the effects to you and show you that defect.
Okay.
So you can get out of the vehicle, and I will show you the defect.
I'll wind down the window. I'll look at the defect. I'll turn the tap.
Still got the torch.
These guys, I don't understand why these guys are trying it so hard to get me out of the vehicle. If you're stopping me under the misuse of drugs, I can understand it. Sorry?
You got an in-car charger?
Why did you say that?
For your phone?
No.
Charge it up. It might run out of battery.
No, it's fine.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's totally fine. Charge it at work.
You're good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Alright.
I'll ask you a question. If your friends came over here,
yeah,
would you chat to them through the window?
If I want to, but you're not my friend. If you're a stranger to me, I haven't seen you from Adam. Just because you got your uniform on, am I supposed to trust you?
No, I'm not saying.
Okay then.
You can believe what you want.
Yeah.
But all we're trying to do is do a job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you may see a uniform, but obviously there is a human being behind the uniform.
I understand that. Yeah, when you take this off after work, you're a human being. I understand that. Past experience I see on the news, police are beating up on people and whatnot. You're doing this stop and search. You want to search people for no reason, violating their rights.
Yeah.
Alright. And why hasn't this been a positive experience? Is it because I'm exercising my legal right?
Because I think my other colleague, my inspector, when he was speaking to you before, it's not a pleasant experience having to speak to you through a crack through the window. As I said to you earlier, I mean, I've been a police officer for a long, long time, and I've never encountered anybody like this.
Well, there you have it. You know, we learn new things every day. And so next time you do stop someone, you can tell them you don't have to get out of the vehicle, but we would like you to.
Next time I stop someone, I'll do exactly the same as I always do.
For the vehicle.
Yeah, can I leave now, please?
No. I need to give you the details, don't I? I need to give you your form.
Yeah, can you just hurry up, because I've got places to go, man.
I'm
taking about an hour just to give you 3 points.
That's all right.
You're taking about an hour just to give me 3 points.
Reason. Got to be thorough, haven't we?
Yeah. Can you just hurry up, please? You're taking the piss.
I need to be
Mate, if you're taking the piss, because I'm going to go now, mate.
What's your language, please?
I'm going to go, man.
I'll just give you your section.
Yeah, can I hurry up?
There you go.
Cheers.
Yeah, take it.
Push it through.
I can't push it through. There you go.
Look at this guy.
Take the ticket, my friend.
Sorry, I can't reach it. Yeah, there we go. Alright?
Okay, mate.
Have a good day, yeah? You might want to mind yourself or run your foot over, sir. Excuse me.
Do so. Alright?
Excuse me.
Drive straight without running my feet over.
Yeah, can you?
I'd like you to put your telephone down while you're driving, though.
Alright. So if you move over, please.
Unnecessary use of your horn. We'll do another ticket, shall we? Okay. Well done.
Cheers.
Oh, I only showed you that because I thought it was interesting. It was a perfect illustration of knowing your rights. It doesn't necessarily going to get you what you want, because the police officers do have the power. They like to exercise their power, right or wrong. and they just see somebody who knows their rights as cocky. And I just the only thing I wished with that is that towards the end, I wish he hadn't said, "Hurry up, please. Will you hurry up, mate?" and all that. I'm getting pissed off because it took away a little edge of the power he had up until that point. But apart from that, I thought that was a very, very good illustration of exercising your rights and knowing what you can and cannot do. But like I said, you meet some stroppy police officers, they can drag you out of the car, they can do all sorts. They can smash the window, they can make it look like you've got something in there and they were afraid of you and goodness knows what. So, yeah, it was pretty good that he was able to record. And yeah, that's all I've got to say today. Bye-bye.